Okay, I'll share my screen. Tell me once it is visible.
I can see your screen now.
Yes. Yeah. We will be starting with lesson 3 of writing, which is called endangered species. Okay. That is the unit that we are going to look at today. In this unit particularly, we are going to see how to understand the problems when you get a writing passage which talks about a problem and a solution, how to identify the problems in them, and how to identify, how to find out or note down the solutions in them also. That's what we are going to look at. Okay, we are also going to see how to organize a paragraph that presents our problems and solutions in integrated tasks. If you might remember, in writing that we have two tasks, correct? One is an independent task, which is an academic discussion task, and the second one is the integrated task. Okay, integrated task is where you get a reading passage as well you get as well as you get a listening audio with that, correct? That's what we are going to see, how to put down our information over there. Okay, and then we are also going to look at a grammar topic in this, which is called comparatives and superlatives, because when you're talking about two things or more than two things, we need to compare the information that we are looking at, correct? So that's what becomes useful for us. That is something that we are going to look at in today's lesson. So the first thing that we have over here is the animals which are given on the screen. Try to note them down, and along with that, if you know their habitat, where they usually live, try to note that down as well.
Okay.
Tell me once you're done. If you don't know the meaning of the word habitat, try to find out the meaning of that as well. Okay.
Ma'am, I have written about all three, but the last one I don't know the name of that animal.
Okay. Any guesses? It's polar bear.
Yes.
It's polar bear.
Okay.
Okay. It's polar bear. They're found they're found in the Arctic Circle. So the first one is South China tiger. They're found in evergreen forest. Okay. The second one is blue whale. They're found in Arctic or Southern Ocean. Then you have giant panda. They're found in Western China. And then you have polar bear. They're found in the Arctic Circle. Okay. Now, what are these animals' habitats like now? Do you know anything about it?
No, like
Okay.
now I don't know.
Would you like to find it out on Google quickly?
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you find the meaning of the word habitat?
I knew it somewhat, but I still tried to like search to cross check if that is true.
Yeah, check it
It's
quickly.
like a natural home.
Yeah, the
Is
natural habitat is basically their natural surroundings, the atmosphere that they need. Okay, did you get any information?
yes.
Okay, so what do you know?
Um,
Tell me.
okay, though they used to be in one area, specifically in one area. Now, currently they like are they're found in various places,
Mm-hmm.
like tropical rainforest, then mangrove swamps,
Mm-hmm.
like considering tiger. Then when we talk about blue whales,
Mm-hmm.
like um, they are now found in all ocean areas
Mm-hmm.
except the Arctic Ocean. And when we talk about giant pandas, so
Okay.
it used to people used to find them in China, but now they can be seen in various other places as well.
Yeah, but if you observe, they are not in their natural habitat then. Okay, once
Right,
you change
right.
their region, and then that's why they are not able to survive. That also becomes an issue, and the numbers are decreasing, and of course, their natural habitat has not stayed the way it was. Correct?
Yeah,
The things are changing because of the urbanization. Now, we just talked about the problems also. What are the problems that they face? That habitats are changing, the urbanization is increasing day by day, so their natural habitat is not the way it was long time back. Correct? Now, what do you
yeah.
think? What do you think causes these problems? Why are they not able to
One
survive? Because we talked
one
about
is
the. Go
yeah,
on.
one is urbanization. So like deforestation is happening at many places.
Mhm.
So that is another reason. And then that in the rise in temperature, so which is
Okay.
causing that ice is melting, and mostly it has been like researched or studied in the range of Himalayas, like that ice has started melting. So maybe it's impacting more this the animals who live in those, I mean, those cold areas. So
Very good. Okay.
about blue whales as well, yeah. Nowadays, it's like seashores, mostly like, I mean, are crowded, and then there are many people who like do fishing. So that's what is causing.
Very good. Okay. Next over here we have an article. Okay, which is from an animal protection website basically about blue whales. I want you to read the passage. You have the passage on the screen. I'm going to share the handout also quickly meanwhile with you. Okay.
Population. Yeah, I'm done reading the passage.
Okay. Next. It's a bit longer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm done reading this passage.
Okay. Next over here I have shared the handout with you also. uh, Now what you have to do is you have to look at the passage and you have to try to find out the adjectives which have been used in their form. Okay, for example, the word largest has been used as the largest in the passage.
Hmm.
Same way the other adjectives, look at them where you can find them in the passage and write them in their as it is form. Okay, because that's what we are going to talk about.
Okay. Ma'am, I'm loading that WhatsApp session on my
Okay,
laptop,
you can
so
see it on the screen also.
it's taking some time.
Till then.
Okay.
Okay, look at all the adjectives. Loud, easy, high, important, and effective. These are the adjectives you need to find. Okay, here you have the passage.
Ma'am, can you please change the
Yeah,
slide?
sure.
I want to
Yeah,
see the next passage. Okay, thank you.
no problem. Okay, so the adjectives being used over here are large becomes the largest, loud becomes louder, correct? Easy becomes easier, and then high
Yes.
becomes higher, and important is changed to the most important and more important, and effective is used as more effective. Correct? Now, these are called comparative forms and superlative forms. To understand them, we need to understand what are comparatives and what are superlatives. But before that, we need to understand what are adjectives. Adjectives are the words which are used to qualify or give more information about nouns and pronouns. You might remember we have discussed nouns and pronouns before. Nouns are the words which are used for the names of people, places, things, and ideas. And pronouns are used the words used in replacement of are nouns, correct? For example, instead of saying the whale, I can say it, correct? So the
Hmm.
word it becomes the pronoun. Now, whenever we want to give more information about these nouns or pronouns, we use the adjectives. Okay, now we have three forms of these adjectives which are important for us, and they are called degrees of comparison, or they can also be called as comparatives and superlatives as they are referring to them over here. Now, what do we mean by, first we have positive degree, okay, then we have comparative degree, and then we have superlative degree. Positive degree is whenever we use the adjective in as it is form. For example, when I use the word cheap, I can say okay, this phone is cheap. So here I'm only talking about the phone that I am using, correct, which is in my hand, say in particular. When I say, when I compare it to something else, okay, when I talk about two things or two people also, then I will use comparative degree, where I will say okay, this phone is cheaper than the Samsung one, this phone is cheaper than the Samsung one. So I'm using cheaper, which is my comparative form, and I'm also using the word than after the comparative form.
Hmm.
Okay, so I'm saying this phone is cheaper than the other one. Okay, but when I talk about more than two things or two people, when I'm comparing it to the whole class of it, say I'm talking about the whole range of phones, like all phones which exist in this world, then I will use superlative degree. I will say this phone is the cheapest, but that's where I need to be sure कि it is the cheapest. Okay, this phone is the cheapest or this phone is the most expensive one. That's how I will say it. So I'm comparing it to the whole range of phones. Okay, same way I can talk about people, same way I can talk about other things as well. Now, to talk about two things, we use comparative degree. To talk about more than two things, we use superlative degree. And only if we are talking about one person or one thing, then I will use positive degree, which is the as it is form of the adjective. Now, here you need to know two things. First thing, actually three things. First thing is, when you are using comparatives, you will use the word than after the comparative adjective if you are using the other noun also. Okay, if you don't use the other noun, then you don't need the word than. You will just say this phone is cheaper because you know you are comparing it to the other phone which is with you. Okay, this phone is cheaper. But if you are saying the other phone, then you will say this phone is cheaper than the other one. ओके, अभी अदर का भी अलग रूल आता है, वो अलग बात है, वो हम आगे देखेंगे. अदर के साथ में हम कंपैरेटिव नहीं यूज करते, दैट इज आल्सो अनदर रूल. ओके, then we have, when we are talking about superlative, we will use the word the article the with it. Okay, I will say this phone is the cheapest. Okay, now the second rule comes whenever we cannot make the word into comparatives or superlatives, we use the word more or most with them. For example, the word important, I can't make it into importanter or importantest. ऐसा कोई word नहीं होता. Okay, I will say this this phone is more important or this phone is the most important one.
Distinct
That's how I
one.
will say it. Okay, same way comfortable becomes more comfortable and the most comfortable. Okay, then we have some irregular adjectives also. Why are we calling them irregular adjectives? Because we don't add er and est to them. Okay, they change totally. So that is the reason I cannot say she is my bestest friend. Bestest friend is incorrect English because best is already into superlative form. So good,
Superlative.
better, best. Then bad, worse, and worst. Many, and then it becomes more than, and then many also becomes most in our superlative form. Okay, another thing that you need to remember is whenever you can make the word into comparative, you will not use the word more or most with them. बहुत लोग ऐसे भी बोलते हैं this is more better. It's incorrect because the word better is already in comparative form. Same way I cannot say she is my most bestest friend. Best is already into superlative, so I cannot add the word most again with that. Okay, it is grammatically incorrect. Of course, people say that to highlight that, okay, सबसे अच्छी friend हो तुम मेरी, but we don't
Right.
need that most with it because it is already into superlative. Okay, so remember this rule that whenever the words are in superlative, you will, or comparative, you will not use the word more or most with them. Okay, you will just use those words, not even to emphasize. Yeah, you can use the other modifiers. You can say much better, but you
Hmm.
cannot say more better. ठीक है, double comparative हम use नहीं करते. Clear?
Yeah.
Okay, very good. Moving to the next part. Here you have an exercise, but you can do this exercise for home assignment. Okay, grammar close part number 4. You can do this for home assignment and share the answers with me. Okay, it's an easy exercise. Moving to the next part. Now we know that in TOEFL writing we talked about it, correct? In TOEFL writing you have two tasks, correct? First one is about your integrated task and second one is your academic discussion task. Now whenever you are given preferences or you're given options, this comes in your TOEFL speaking also. Whenever you're giving options, whenever you're given preferences, you will use the comparatives and superlatives to do that comparison with them. Okay, that's where this language becomes important for us. That's where you will use your comparatives and superlatives to give your preferences and give explanations for those preferences also. Okay, it will become easier for you to speak in a flow, but that's where we have to be aware of all the grammatical errors that we do also. Now again, you have a passage over here which talks about African elephants. I want you to read the passage just the way we do our just the way we do our integrated task in writing. Okay, you read a passage and then you listen to a lecture, and based on that we are going to write an essay kind of. Okay, your main thing that you have to do is first read through it and then see the three problems that it talks about, because this article is a problem solution article. Okay, so I
Okay.
want you to read the passage and identify the three problems it is talking about, because in the lecture, once you come across a problems in this, you should know that in lecture you're going to listen to solutions. Okay,
Yeah.
that should be your cue over here, because
Mm-hmm.
it starts, if you observe over here in the second passage, it directly starts with another major problem for the African elephant is. So that means this passage talks about problems, and that should be your cue that okay, in the listening audio you are going to come across.
Solution.
I have muted you for some time. There is a lot of background noise. Sorry. Yeah. So in the audio, listening audio, you are going to come across solutions. Okay, that should be your cue over there. That's the reason I'm saying. So try to read through it and write down the three problems. And you already know, I have already told you this before, that whenever you come across a passage, and especially in our integrated writing task, you will come across three problems, and you will come across three solutions. Correct? And that is the reason we write it in five paragraphs. First paragraph is our introductory paragraph, then second paragraph is where your essay actually starts, where you will put forward the first problem and the first solution. Then in the third paragraph, which is your second body paragraph, you will write down the second problem and the solution the lecturer gives. And then same goes for the fourth paragraph, body part 3, where you'll put forward the third problem and the solution given by the passage and the audio. And then your last paragraph 5, which should be your conclusion paragraph, where you conclude by saying whatever is being said in the passage and the audio. Okay, that should be your format.
Ma'am, we are going to do this activity now.
Yes,
Right.
in the class, yes.
Okay. Okay. Actually, I have to
You have
leave
to
by
drop off.
1:30. Sorry. Yeah.
Okay, no problem. We'll stop over here. We'll continue tomorrow then. Okay, or you can try to do it on your own also. Yeah.
This we have in handout.
Yes, you have it in handout. You might
Okay.
not have the audio for this. I'll share the link for the
Okay.
audio with you. Okay?
Sure, sure, ma'am. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'll
you can
share
just
it.
go through it and
Read
try
this.
to do it on your own first. First, just note down the problems and the solutions, because that's the first task you'll be doing, right? When you come across this task. So first write down the problems that you come across, write down the solutions that you come across, make an outline. Then you put it into a paragraph. Okay? Understood? Yeah, it's easy.
Yes,
Try
ma'am.
to do it on your own. If you cannot, we'll do it in the class tomorrow. Yeah.
Sure, sure, ma'am. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, no problem. Chalo, bye bye.
Bye bye.